Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to explore a really powerful idea today: how that dreaded concept of cutting back isn't really about loss at all. It's actually about building genuine, lasting strength. It's about completely shifting your perspective from just getting temporary relief to finding real freedom.
And let's just start with the question that I know is on everyone's mind. It's the first thing we all feel when someone even suggests spending less. I mean, after a long, stressful week, if you can't even enjoy the money you earn, what's the point of it all? And look, that's a totally fair and very real question. And that feeling, it's completely understandable. The whole idea of cutting back makes it feel like all the color is about to get drained from your life. Using money for a nice meal out or a small online purchase as a reward, that feels normal, doesn't it? It feels like a release valve for all the pressure we're under.
But here's the thing. This leads us into a cycle, a pattern that we can call the comfort trap. This is where we work super hard, we feel stressed out, and then we use spending as a way to escape, even for just a moment, from this underlying feeling of financial instability. It always starts small and seems so harmless. You've had a brutal week, you're totally exhausted, and the thought of cooking is just too much. So you go out for dinner. And it's not just about the food, right? It's about that feeling of relief, of being taken care of for an hour or two.
Or, maybe it's this: a quick scroll online during your lunch break. You see something you like, it's not crazy expensive, so you just click buy. It gives you a little hit of excitement, a momentary break from the grind. But what's really happening here is that these little comforts are starting to form a pattern of escaping, not a pattern of building.
So these things are what you might call financial leaks. Each one on its own seems tiny, almost insignificant. But together they create this steady drain on your financial foundation. And here's the paradox, the crazy part. While you're spending money to feel less stressed, these leaks are secretly adding to the background pressure because deep down you know things are tight.
So you're living in this cycle of temporary comfort, just kind of patching over the stress. But then comes the moment of truth. Because the one thing you can always count on is that life is going to happen. And this is when that fragile illusion of comfort gets put to the ultimate test.
And it happens in ways we all recognize. The car breaks down, and it is not a cheap fix. The landlord suddenly raises the rent. An unexpected bill shows up in the mail. Or your income takes a hit, maybe your hours get cut, or even worse, there's a layoff. Look, this isn't some dramatic movie plot. This is just real life, the stuff that shatters our sense of stability. And right there, in that moment of crisis, this really painful realization just hits you. All that spending, it wasn't building a strong life. It was just making an unstable life feel a little more comfortable for a little while. It was just a temporary anesthetic for a deeper problem that was never actually getting solved. But that moment, as painful as it is, that is the turning point. This is where the whole story shifts. It's the point where we stop chasing the appearance of success and we start building the real thing, genuine, rock-solid security. This lays out the two mindsets perfectly. On one side, you've got false comfort. It's all about looking rich, but it feels so fragile because you're constantly trying to escape pressure. On the other side, you have real stability. This has nothing to do with looks. It's about being secure. It feels strong because you're not escaping pressure anymore. You're building the capacity to actually handle it. And that is the real prize. This isn't about deprivation. It's about gaining real peace of mind, the kind that gives you options when things go wrong, the kind of breathing room that lets you think clearly instead of just panicking. It's about taking back the power over your own life. Okay, so how do we actually get there? This is the part of the journey that takes real commitment. It means accepting a temporary season of discomfort in order to build something that is going to last a lifetime. And this timeline kind of shows you what that feels like. That first month, yeah, that's the hard part. You have to face the numbers honestly, find all those financial leaks, and start plugging them. It takes work. But then, somewhere around month 3, you hit a turning point. The constant chaos starts to slow down. That background pressure begins to ease up. And by 6 months or so, you've got a new normal. Control has replaced chaos. You're not just reacting anymore, you can finally breathe. And you know what the number one reward is? The very first, most powerful thing you feel? It's not some fancy purchase, it's relief. That incredible, amazing feeling of being able to finally truly breathe, of knowing you're no longer running on empty. I'm telling you, that feeling is absolutely priceless. And this brings us to the final act, the best part of the whole story. Once you've built that foundation of control and stability,
you can reintroduce enjoyment into your life. But this time, it feels completely different. It's enjoyment that's funded by strength, not by stress.
Think about it this way. Spending from stress is an anxious escape. It's often funded by debt or the last few bucks you have, and it just feels heavy and temporary. But spending from a place of strength, that's a true pleasure. It's funded by a real surplus you actually have, and the enjoyment feels light, clean, and honest because it's real.
And that is why this process isn't about giving things up. It's not subtraction, it's reconstruction. You are taking the life you have and you are rebuilding it on a solid, unbreakable foundation.
So ultimately, what we're really talking about is ending a pattern. It's the end of decorating financial weakness with little comforts and pretending that's what freedom feels like. True freedom is the absence of fragility.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. When you spend money for comfort, is that enjoyment coming from a place of strength today, or are you simply borrowing it from your own future? Being honest with yourself on that, well, that could be the very first step on your journey to real freedom.